So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another scene for New Sarum. We'll be opening this scene at Delarouse's lovely home, the one that he shares so generously with Tootie, and more importantly, it's actually more sharing with Renee, who they've allowed to crash with them, and they're just such good hosts. And in light of the constant downpour, there has been a certain new series of just ritual activities that herald anyone coming home, really. You come inside, there's a change of dry clothes there, just, comfy house clothes, there's towels, there's a laundry bin. You step in, you shed the wet stuff, dry off real fast, throw on the dry stuff. It's very nice, it's very tidy, it contains the mess. It's just the way things are done in this household. The downside is that tonight, this is not the way things are done. Tonight, things change very abruptly, as there is simply first the sound of the car coming up the drive, and then there is the sound of the door not opening and closing, but slamming shut, and footsteps almost immediately stomping up the stairs, accompanied by angry muttering.
Yeah, you've tracked in quite a lot of dirt, haven't you?
Wet sand, actually. She
That's a
got pitched
willpower roll.
into the sand and the rain has stopped, so it has not sluiced off of her.
Darby, a willpower roll.
Yep. I know.
I don't know how they'll react to this. You are fucking lucky. That is a 10, a 7, and a 10. Yes. Renee, you make it upstairs. Where are you going?
She basically goes straight for her room. When Delarousse does get to where he can see the casualties of this tirade, thankfully it's not a ton of sand. Like, she at least managed to knock off some, like, before getting into the car and after getting home, or like out on the porch, whatever. Like, she's got just a certain bit, like sand, especially wet sand. It just, you can never get rid of it. So there is some wet sand. Most of it just on that mat just inside the door where they've been standing and drying off. But yeah, I wouldn't say there are footprints, but there's bits of sand up the staircase. He'll catch sight of Renee, who is in what was once a little black dress. It is no longer the classy little black dress. It has been torn up. It's ragged. It's probably where some measure of the sand is clinging. She is soaked, and she is hitting the top of the stairs, just going, that's it. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm done. And just fucking marching towards her room down the hall.
You don't see Delarousse during this whole tirade, and you make it into your room, guessing. Yeah. He hasn't blocked it off.
Yeah, the door to that slams as well, and soon enough there will be the sounds of a shower taking place. But she didn't play any games at the front of the house. She just went straight upstairs. The wet and just ruined dress, that shit was dry clean only. It has just been flung, not like wadded up into the bin. And yeah, she goes and promptly takes a shower, with Panacea probably hanging out on the sink.
Okay. You are not interrupted. There's no knock at your door or anything of the sort.
And there will be, time passes, as it were.
Yes.
And Renee will emerge finally in, the set of pajama style, just comfy house clothes, with a towel still wrapped up around her hair. And at the very least, to her credit, looking slightly more slightly quieted after her very angry shower. Did you know you could shower angrily? She can. But yeah, she comes out and kind of starts back towards the stairs, hands stuffed in the pajama pants pockets, and kind of with an eye on the floor to kind of
It
see
is
how much of a mess she has managed to make.
everything outside of your room has been cleaned. And when you come down the stairs, the same down there. It's clean. That's probably when you'll notice the two wine glasses on the kitchen island, with Delarue stood behind one of them, putting
Yeah,
down a wine bottle next to it.
there's kind of a
She's,
well shit expression on her face as she realizes that she is too late to clean up her own mess.
he gives you a look. It's halfway between a cordial smile and a concerned expression. What's the matter, Renee?
And she kind of fires a glance over at him and immediately looks at least a touch sheepish and reaches up. And while she's standing there at the base of the stairs, we'll go ahead and furiously try to scrub any remaining dampness out of her hair so that the towel can go straight into the damp bin that's always there, as opposed to getting tossed anywhere else. This place is crazy. Just a heads up, in case you weren't in the know.
I know, I'm quite aware of it, says as he takes a sip of wine.
And she will finally see fit to come over and join him, still looking at least a little sheepish as she does so. Sorry about the mess. I would have cleaned it up.
I assume you have a good reason for being such state of distress.
And she pinches the bridge of her nose and goes ahead and walks in and, joins him at this counter island and looks for all the world like she's seriously considering drinking the wine, hell with it. But at least picks up the second glass and enjoys the smell of it because she can do that much. Like, almost does so as if it's a soothing gesture, though. He'll notice she comes up to the counter and snags that with one hand. The other hand sets at the edge of the counter and starts immediately, lightly, like just the one fingertip, tip tapping. And she just shakes her head. I am probably in trouble. Maybe. I don't know. And everything just went to hell. But hey, the rain stopped. There's that.
So it did.
Rubs her face, sets the glass down. Oh, fun.
I think the beginning is where people usually start their stories.
One quick question though. Do you know anyone? Do we know anyone named Frankie?
Roll P&E there. Roll manip subterfuge. That's a 7 dice. That is 1, 2, 3 successes.
Damn it. Not enough.
He keeps a neutral face, much like in the picture. Frankie.
Like, am I losing it? Do we know a guy named Frankie? Val seemed really weirded out.
Sort of furrows his brown concerned.
Do I just have a knack for talking to dead people? Is that a thing?
Well, I don't want to alarm you, Renee, but you are talking to a dead person.
You know what I mean. Oh my. Ruffles her hair again. She's still clearly agitated. The finger is still just tip-tapping away. Not like frantically paced, but pretty reasonably quickly. It's not casual.
He sort of sighs, puts down his glass, and moves sides to counter, so he's sort of face to face with you on the side. And he puts his hand on your shoulder and does the thing that he does. Because, yes, it's broken, and god damn it, do I love it to bits. He rolls that sweet, sweet passion. It's empathy. What is my empathy now?
That is a good question.
So yeah, that's 7 dice, which I somehow always fail when it comes to beauty. 7 fucking dice.
What's your diff? My road score or something?
That's your humanity difficulty. Are you shitting me?
Hold on. Let me check what the fuck my humanity is.
Well, it must be at least 6.
Probably.
For those who can't see it because we're rolling in Discord, that was a 10, 10, and 2 ones. And then a 5, 4, 5. Fuck
oh my god,
life.
I can't find it. I think it would be right here. If nothing else, doing the math, it is 6. There it is. Okay. Yeah, it's 6. So it fails. She's still very agitated.
Why don't we start at the beginning? Please take a seat. And he gestures to the couches in the adjacent living room. I'll put on some music.
Yeah, sure. And she abandons the wine glass entirely because it chafes her ass something awful that she can't drink it. So she's not even going to play the game right now. She's normally very good about it, but not today. And she will obediently go into the living room and flop in whatever like corner of a couch she normally occupies.
And for lack of a reference, you will be hearing this coming from the very fancy audio setup they have. They have, knowing 2D and Belarus's sort of proclivities, they have LPs. They like the feeling of big discs, being able to put it down. So this starts playing. So, and he takes a seat opposite you, wine glass in hand. You met this Frankie.
Yeah, just some guy named Frankie. I saw him, over in the Littlefinger, and I guess he'd heard about me and Pod running in a couple times. He said something about... I mean, he told me a lot of stuff, but he said that Pod was the reason for the rain and didn't know it. And I thought that sounded really silly, but now Pod is not a problem, and it's not raining anymore. He almost took Val's head off. Jesus. She reaches up and kind of sympathetically rubs her own throat.
Yes, he likes doing that. What do you mean not a problem anymore?
So we saw this guy. Oh god. Beginning, right?
Please.
So I decided to go to the Gemini because I'm not supposed to walk around by myself, but wanted to, I don't know, hang out or something. Just kind of wanted to get out. And Val was there, and this chick Allie, I guess she's new. Val didn't seem to know her. Was there, and I guess Val owed someone a favor. So she kind of got reminded with what wasn't even a veiled threat. It was just a really obvious threat. And we decided, whatever, we'd go help her out, So we went to find this, I guess her name was Crystal? This chick who apparently cuts people's faces off. Because that's perfectly normal.
Yes, I've had a few run-ins with her.
Yeah, well, so we went to find her, and, you know, a lot of shit happened, but we did find her. And she was doing the weirdest shit. She was just, and I mean, like, she breathed. She wasn't one of us. She was just laying out in this pool, apparently, looking up at the sky, getting rained on. And I guess Val must have tried to bring her inside, but she, like, freaked out and ran back out. But, like, the whole time she was outside, she wouldn't move. She wouldn't do anything. So I went to get the van so we could just take her to the guy. And this dude showed up and snatched her. And so we chased him onto the beach. And, like, I missed part of it. I was getting the van, but I managed to chase them onto the beach, like, follow them, and I caught up, and I couldn't see anyone, but I saw footprints. So I kind of knee-jerk threw sand at it, thinking maybe it was the guy they were looking for, but it wasn't. It was Pod, and he was right behind Val. And
You saved her life.
I mean, I don't know how much I saved her life. I threw sand at him. I grabbed her because for some reason he doesn't seem especially intent on killing me, and I had the stupid idea that maybe if we were really close together, he wouldn't be able to net her without netting me, which I guess was a really bad idea now that I think about it, but whatever. I didn't want to see her die. So yeah. Then Pod grabbed Allie and wrapped that wire around her throat, and I thought he was going to kill her. But then he heard that the other guy there, trying to remember if they said his name in scene. I think they did. If assume here that if I am mistaken and the name was not given, she just gives a description because she did see him later. That
Okay.
that Star guy was there, and when he heard he was there, he thankfully dropped Allie, but then he took off after Star, and we took off after him, which was a terrible idea, but Val didn't want to let him out of her sight, so she chased him and we chased Val, and we got up, and we finally found Crystal. I guess Star had grabbed her and then dropped her there. And then when Pod saw her, he went for her, and Val tried to stop him, and he got that wire around her throat, and he... Jesus. I think he cut through everything but her spine. And I heard his voice. He's the same guy that I saw horseback riding. I saw him and I heard him, and he asked what I would do with this crystal chick if he would save Val. And I told him I'd do whatever he wanted. I didn't care. I just didn't want Val to die. But he never told me what he wanted. But he still... You know that thing Tootie does where her eyes go black?
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah. Well, so started that. And he broke Pod. It was bad. Like, it was really scary bad. Like, I think he must have broken like every bone in his body. It sounded like it. And then he buried him.
On the beach.
Yeah. But so he did that, and then he disappeared. and there was like no telling that anything had happened there. It was just sand, and of course, I figured maybe there was something about this girl that maybe we didn't know. But like by time all that was over, this Giovanni guy was there to, I guess, collect. I don't know what was up between him and Val. He gave her a vial and, basically said thanks for the deal, and then he killed her. Like, they brought out a winch and they hung her up, and he held out this knife and was saying shit in some other language, and there was like purple lightning. It was fucking freaky. And we were trying to get him to stop. Even Val said she didn't want to make the deal anymore. She didn't want to go through with it, but he wouldn't listen. And so I did the only thing I could think of, and I called the police. Thought maybe if I made a scene, he'd be forced to stop, but he just killed her. And she couldn't do anything. Like, while she was out in the rain, she couldn't even move. She just laid there. And they just put the noose on her, and shakes her head again. Actually looking offside. Yeah. That alley chick's a giant bitch who, there was only so much we could do, but she was like, good, the deal's done. But he still killed that girl. He cut her up, too. Like, took parts of her.
I'm very sorry you have to see that, Renee.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Kind of rubs her hair again sheepishly. It was shit. They chopped her up like she was nothing. So now, Pod's, I don't even know. I guess he's technically still alive. I don't fucking know, but he's buried, and the star disappeared, and this guy, peeled out before the police got there, and it was fucking nuts.
Well, I'm very glad you made it out okay.
Yeah.
For whatever he might have been in the past to you, Podrick is not a man to be trusted. And he is dangerous.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like I know he's dangerous. I know he's unstable, and I know he's unpredictable. Even that Frankie guy said, like, he doesn't even know what he wants. It's just, he said he was like the joke that, please don't get mad at me. He said he was the joke that the Malkavians played on themselves.
And you see a smile creep up on his face.
Okay, at least you're not mad, but I felt like maybe, like, Pod didn't know what he wanted, but it seemed like he wanted to be heard, and I thought maybe there was something he needed someone to hear, and maybe if I heard it, it would give him some peace or something.
I don't think peace was ever an option.
And I've never felt... I've been scared, some, but there was a second there where I really thought he was going to jump on me. And, previous to that, he'd always just talked. And, yeah, he was creepy, but he'd never threatened me outright.
No, I wouldn't expect him to. Not you.
kind of quirks her brow. Why not me?
Sort of looking off downwards to your side, not at anything in particular, just looking off, sort of scratching the side of his face. Well, you're safe now.
Yeah, I guess.
And if Tootie was still here, she'd back me up in saying that we're not going to let anything happen to you.
Yeah, I know. Just, I don't know what Star wanted us to do. He kept asking, well, he asked me, what would we do with her? And I don't know what he wanted. And in the end, I didn't do much. I tried. I did everything I could think of, but there was this guy, and he must have been high up the food chain. He had like a ton of mooks there, and in the end, I really didn't help her.
You made a choice. Mother is choosing to commit the crime, but you had to choose between Val or Crystal.
I mean, even Val wouldn't want to do it anymore.
She already made her choice. Perhaps she was too naive to understand the consequences. Perhaps she doesn't really care about them either way. She made a deal.
I guess, yeah, I guess she did.
The
But
only difference between her and you is you had to choose between one life and another. She freely gave up a life for her own ends. I wish I could say I was disappointed.
I just, I can't think of anything else I could have done. By the time the whole thing was over and, the blonde guy disappeared, he was there. I don't even know what I would have done if I could, besides, like, try to get her back to my car or something. But even then, she's been carving people's faces off. Like, for all I know, once I put her in the car, she would have freaked out and done it to me. I don't know. I tried to pull her into the cave, but she freaked out and ran out onto the sand and threw herself down so she could look at the sky again.
Sort of leans over and looks out the window at the now rainless night. Uh, I think I'll almost miss her.
Oh, Crystal?
I guess I've grown accustomed to hearing about her exploits in the news.
I guess.
She was so prolific.
I don't know, man. She didn't seem to even know where she was or what she was doing. It was weird. It was really weird.
He turns to look at you. In the end, we all only do what we want to do. Nothing more and nothing less.
And for the sake of having it stated, her thumb has still been like hammering at the top of her knee the entire time. I wonder if he's mad at me.
Who?
Um, the guy, the blonde.
Mr. Stahl?
Yeah.
No.
I
No,
thought,
how could he be?
I mean, I don't know what he wanted me to do, but I'm pretty sure I didn't do it.
Like I told you, he only wants you to do what you want to do. Can we do anything else?
I mean, I guess not.
Then how can you be disappointed?
I don't know. I just. I don't know. I'm kind of. Is it stupid that I'm afraid he won't be there if I go back to the stable again?
No, I can sympathize. There used to be a time in my life when I didn't know the difference between him and me. Felt like a circle. Didn't quite know where I started and he ended.
Her brow kind of knits. She obviously can't understand properly.
But now I know. And I know what I don't know. There'll always be a Mr. Star.
I mean, he's still around.
He'll never leave.
She kind of quirks her head a bit, but doesn't necessarily ask outright.
He's been in the city longer than anybody else.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. And he'll be here long after we're all finished. And then he's going to be in the next place. And the place after that.
Next place.
But that's really for another time. Yes, another time.
Mm.
Clever, awfully clever.
Well, either way, he's disappeared again, I guess. And only other person, I don't even think Val was really with it enough to see. But I think Allie's the only other one who saw where he got buried. And I told her to keep it a secret. I don't know how much that's gonna hold, but
Could you tell me where he's buried?
I mean, I guess, but I don't know if I'd want to let him out of the box, as it were.
No. But I feel I must pay my respects.
I mean, I could show you.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, you put him. There's this big stone. I mean, in the end, it was kind of like a sarcophagus. It was weird. I don't even know what it was doing out on the beach in the first place, unless this was like planned or something. But you put him in that, and then put him way, way down in the sand.
Oh, Audrey. You know, I almost wish I could have seen it. Ah, scratch that. I do wish I could have seen it.
I mean, if I could share, I would. She kind of shrugs. You could have it.
You do know he tried to kill me with a car once.
I mean, Sounds like he's tried to kill about everyone. Except me.
Except he.
Why is it always except me? The Frankie guy, Val said he was supposed to be dead. Burned up. Wasn't Mr. Star supposed to be burned up too?
Seems like it.
But yeah. No, this... I mean, I don't even know. He was like... This Frankie guy, he was like older, bald, really bright shirt. Like, you know who I'm talking about, don't you, right?
I knew him once. At least I thought I did.
Well, it seems like word of his death is greatly exaggerated. That or I just see dead people, which seems fine and par for the course at this point. The idle tapping has gotten a touch faster.
Are you afraid?
I mean, I should be.
Don't be. And as he says that, I will attempt it once again, because a fail does not deter me. And because I think he can clearly tell it hasn't worked. Damn you!
Oh no! What does that do?
I don't know.
Doesn't it hit you if you do that?
There is nothing here about
Hold on.
botching passion. I know Torna's gonna jump on this so fucking quickly.
We'll know the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hits you.
He is so calm. Which he already was, so I don't really know what the fuck's gonna happen to him.
Okay, so yeah.
Yep.
You are so fucking chill right now. And she is not.
Yep.
She's still very, very nervous, very anxious.
This is getting interesting.
I don't know. Crazier and crazier shit keeps happening. And I never know really what's going on.
He sips his wine, leaning back in the chair, this comfortable chair. Why do you think you're always the exception?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not anything special. I'm just new.
There's plenty of new kindred in the city. And I'm fairly certain Bard would have happily separated their heads from their necks.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I didn't know enough to make him mad. Like he came talking about the first time, just talking about how the people here make you change. And I told him, for all I knew, he was right. I thought maybe, like, that's why I thought maybe he just wanted to be heard. I can't think of any other reason.
Well, we all change.
Well, yeah, but there's still a difference between, like, naturally growing and maturing and being forced to be something you're not. And, like, Tootie would be super mad at me, but he's not wrong. Not about that. Like, I'm not saying that the things that he does are okay or right, just being made like this kind of forces you to change. And I imagine that if you live as long as you can live and you can't talk to people and you can't, I mean, I guess you can, but you're not person, you're just kind of on the outside looking in. It's not going to change you in a good way.
Maybe that's why.
I don't know. She finally
Maybe it's
just kind of
because you.
slumps back in defeat, thumb still tapping.
Maybe it's because you refuse to change.
I mean, I don't see how that's really. I mean, technically, isn't that just kind of childish to stomp your feet and say no?
Is there anything purer in this world than a child?
I mean, if you met some of the kids I had. It
It's an
always
ugly.
that gets said a lot, doesn't it?
It does ugly things to you.
What?
This world.
Well, yeah. It's life. It sucks.
And what if it wasn't?
What if the world wasn't awful?
If there was a way where we could reach into the ugliness, rip it out.
I mean, if there was a way, I wish someone would just do it already.
Do you?
Well, yeah. Who wouldn't want things to be better? If you could just reach out and, across the entire world, take out all the nasty, horrible things, why wouldn't you? Like, I
What
know
would you be
that's,
willing to pay?
I mean, to do something like that? I mean, that's kind of the classic fairy tale thing, isn't it? Like, who wouldn't give even their life to make hundreds of thousands of other lives better?
It's a noble sacrifice. Or would you give somebody else's life for it?
You can't give what isn't yours.
But you can take it, just like you can take all that ugliness,
I
clean
mean,
it,
doesn't that just make you as ugly as everything you're trying to take away?
kill one killer, and the population of killers in the world hasn't changed. Kill 100, and it has.
Yeah, but that's. You can't objectively just look at someone and know they're bad. You can't punish people for things they haven't done. Isn't that what that whole Psychopaths movie was about? Or show? Whatever that was.
You called it a fairy tale.
I mean, things on that scale only happen in fairy tales, unless you're talking about mass homicide of bad people, which just kind of, again, classic trope, just makes you the biggest monster in the room.
We are monsters. Right now.
I mean, I'm enjoying
Two,
my lovely state of denial. It's pretty nice.
two dead humans. They suck the blood out of the innocent and the frightened.
No, no, I don't.
Nighttime travelers. And then go to sleep in coffins in their basements before exploding into bats. Creatures that can reach out and tell somebody to stop, jump, sit, and they do it, who can see through walls, who can run faster than a speeding car. That sounds like a fairy tale.
I mean, I can't do 90% of that stuff, so. And I don't do the other one.
He smiles at you. But changing the world? That's not a fairy tale.
Are you planning to do it? Just get rid of everything that makes people terrible so they can just be happy?
He sits back in his chair and looks out the window.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I could, if I knew it would work, I'd give anything I had to give. But nothing seems like I've seen a lot of crazy shit, but I've never seen anything yet that makes it better. It always just kind of gets, it's just digging the hole deeper and deeper. It just gets worse.
When you deal with ugliness, it's often all you see. And with the ugliness that we have to deal with, you'd have to dig a very deep hole to bury it all.
Yeah. Finally tucks some of her damp hair behind her ear. Curls herself up, like pulls her feet up, thankfully. Very clean now, but pulls them up so she's got her legs scrunched up to her body. Arms kind of draped on top. Thumb still tapping.
Oh, I don't know if I can hate Podrick anymore. I don't know if I have the energy for it.
I mean, can you really hate someone who doesn't even understand? He thinks he does, but he's not all there. I'm not saying it makes it okay, just
He sees the joke. He just doesn't understand that he's the punchline. And every fairy tale needs a good old-fashioned villain.
I don't know. I kind of think the guy, the Giovanni, whatever his name was, with the watch, he scared me more than Podrick did. Like, Podrick, he does horrible things, but he just kills people. That guy, like, he did something crazy and he chopped up her body. I think we've got bigger villains. Seems like Podrick's practically a mini boss.
I will miss him. Well, we'll see each other again, I suppose. Can't say I look forward to it.
I mean, like I said, I'm not even sure he's really dead.
No. But his part in the story is coming to an end. Time to turn the page.
But why does everyone keep talking about children? Like, Tootie's done it. I think maybe you've said something about it before. Star said it when I went to the stable.
Is there anything as pure as a child?
I mean, if the child was actually open-minded and pure-hearted, no, I guess not, but she just kind of
If you could
shrugs.
hear them, if you could hear them, if you could hear every child smitten in this world, every child murdered in the crib, in the bathtub, sold, abused, deserted, used, left for dead. If you could hear them all, every single one of them, well,
Her brow definitely knits. Like, there's both, like, real concern. She's kind of almost not afraid, but almost disgusted by the idea of just the subject matter. But there's some concern and some confusion, perhaps. I mean, if you could hear all that all the time, considering how many people are hurt everywhere any given minute, I feel like you'd just go crazy. Having to hear that would be terrible.
yes, he says and takes a sip of his wine, looking you over the rim of the glass.
The eyes narrow a little bit thoughtfully, expression clearing up a bit. Are you saying you do?
He's still looking out the window, the rainless night. Probably still some water dripping from the second story balcony,
Oh,
still
yeah.
collected. Still some rolling down the windows, hitting muddy dirt. I hope 2D is safe in London.
Her lips firm into a bit of a vaguely peeved line.
You know it's been almost 10 years since I've ever been this long away from her.
Oh, really?
I lost my life beaten in a back alley. I lost my sire and my primogen. I lost my job. But I've never felt this lost. I look over and I don't see her sitting there.
And maybe it's a thoughtless gesture on her part. Is he sitting like across from her or like down the couch?
He's basically sitting across from you.
Is he actually looking at her? Or is he still looking out the window?
He's looking to the seat next to you.
And he'll see her shift and move. And actually, like, moving not to do much per se, but she does stretch a hand out as if to, like, kind of touch the back of his hand reassuringly, since I imagine that's what's closest, since he was leaned forward with the drink.
Yeah.
And I mean,
He
if
shifts
he,
his attention back to her and you see a warm smile.
yeah, if he lets her, she won't be gone long. And she'll be back, and she'll be fine.
Thank you.
It's a light shrug. I don't know. It's just everything's weird. She finally sits back again. And she finally, takes a minute looking at him again, kind of searchingly. Because he keeps changing the subject and she's not so sure how many times she can get away with bouncing it back.
He seems to just be enjoying sitting, drinking his wine.
So all those kids. I still don't see. I still don't understand what that has to do with me. Like, you guys are great, and I don't mind Tootie, like, having her mom moments. It's sweet. But, like, optimism aside, I'm not a kid.
He gives you an endearing look and a smile.
I just don't get a straight answer, do I?
You seem to think there's still this one. I'm afraid that's not how it works.
I mean, you seem to know.
I seem to, don't I?
And again, totally not a straight answer. One might dare say you're doing it on purpose. That is, of course, impish. Like, there's the vague beginnings of a teasing tone. The tapping has slowed down a bit.
Well, we can only do what we want to do. Nothing more and nothing less.
And you don't want to explain? She teases, grinning a bit, stretching finally.
He looks up and with a very, very genuine smile, with no hint of sarcasm or derogatory meaning, simply says, "You don't want to listen."
And she just expels a breath in that kind of deflating fashion and flumps sideways on the couch. Just blump. I do want to listen. I'm just bad at it.
Don't worry.
Why
You're
not?
safe with us.
Yeah.
He gets up. You hear some sort of motion in the kitchen. It sounds like he's just putting the glasses away.
Yep, she stays flumped for the moment, though if he takes a hot minute, she'll eventually poke her head up over the back of the couch to see what he's doing.
He doesn't take a hot minute. In fact, you feel something suddenly on your feet, and then
Hmm?
on your legs, and then on your body as a blanket is laid over you.
I mean, there's the initial blink of bleh, but all things considered, it's still a sweet gesture, and she actually, just without thinking, gives him a very sweet little smile.
He smiles back. Rest. It's been a long night.
It's been completely ridiculous. You think I should try to go back to the stable? You think he'll be there?
When you want to, I'd go back to the stables. Then you hear Delarousse retreat. He puts on some nice, very melodic, almost lullaby-ish jazz as he changes out the LPs. Then you hear the creaks in the stairs as he heads upstairs. And you just hear at the very top of them, "Good night, Renee."
Night. Then yeah, all things considered, she's been all but tucked in. She will probably, I mean, as long as the windows are covered so she's not gonna like die horribly come daylight. We'll probably just stay down there, curled up on the couch for the day. Is there anything else you would like to do before I close it? Shall take your muting as a no. In that case, I'll say thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching. You'll see you next time in another scene from New Serum.